The guava orchard you are seeing belongs to Sadashiv Adkine. The special feature of this guava orchard is that it is based on the SRT method, which stands for zero tillage technique. Zero tillage means no cultivation through animals, laborers, or tractors in the crop. The weeds present are either killed with herbicides, or if it is an orchard, they are cut and mulched using a brush cutter. As you can see, due to herbicide spraying in this orchard, the weeds have been burned on the spot, creating mulch. This mulch will turn into manure on site, and the roots of the weeds will gradually decompose, creating voids that allow air to pass through, providing the necessary air to the roots, enabling them to absorb water and nutrients. This gradually increases the organic matter in the soil and significantly boosts the number of beneficial microorganisms. These microorganisms, or fungi, help the crops obtain their nutrients. Additionally, due to the increased number of living roots, the amount of mycorrhizal fungi increases significantly. These fungi provide nutrients and water to the crops during periods of water stress. So, this guava orchard on the SRT method belongs to Sadashiv Adkine. He also has a Carissa carandas crop. When I spoke to him over the phone for information on the caranda crop, he mentioned that he also has a guava orchard. After learning about the maintenance of guava orchards, I explained the SRT method to him and suggested he try this technique. He started experimenting with this method 2 years ago. Let's find out from this farmer if this SRT method in the guava orchard has benefited him or not. 3 years ago, I received a call from a farmer while I was working in the field. We started talking openly, but I had no idea who the other person was or what kind of farmer he was. Later, I learned that the call was from the respected Tukaram Mote, sir. The most important thing is that I was unaware for almost 3 years that he was an officer or a government official. I found out later from an officer in our local agricultural department that the number from which I was getting calls and guidance was from a very senior officer. Since then, I have been overwhelmed. Mote sir told me about the zero tillage technique, where no cultivation is done. This SRT method was explained to me by Mote sir. For the past 2.5 years, I have not used a tractor or plowed my field, and you can see the guavas are excellent. The taste of these guavas is so great that in markets like Wasmat, Parbani, or Nanded, my guavas are sold first before others. The reason for this is no disturbance to the roots, and the soil remains undisturbed. The most significant benefit is that the top 5 to 6 inches of soil, which used to erode due to cultivation, as my field is near the river, now remains intact due to the weed cover. Various types of weeds grow in this field, and during summer, they grow up to knee height. People involved in dairy farming in our village requested this grass for fodder, but I did not give it away. The weeds were cut by laborers, and those that sprouted again were sprayed with a light dose of salt. However, as not all the grass died from the salt, it was sprayed with herbicide, killing it all on the spot. I do not remove any crop residues from the field, as advised by Mote sir 2.5 years ago, and you can see the result. Earthworms can be seen whenever you dig the soil. This earthworm, our rural friend, is the farmer's best friend. The soil is like tea powder, full of beneficial microorganisms. Due to all this, the taste of guava has become exceptional. Tukaram Mote, herbicide spraying has killed all the weeds, and I feel like I'm walking on a cushion, indicating that the soil has become loose. The soil cover is intact, and the topsoil has not eroded, but the silt from other fields has settled in my field. I will now explain the scientific reason behind adopting this zero-tillage SRT method. It will become clear that the more organic matter in the soil, the more fertile it is considered. Without organic matter, even if we add chemical fertilizers, the crops do not benefit from them because there need to be microorganisms in the soil. The more organic matter in the soil, the more microorganisms it will have, and these microorganisms make the fertilizers available to the crops. Additionally, they also make the various nutrients locked in the soil available to the crops. The main principle of SRT is to increase the organic matter in the soil. To increase the organic matter, you should not disturb the soil at all. When I say this, people laugh and ask how crops can grow without cultivation. Hence, there is a competition to keep fields weed-free and clean. However, This organic matter is lighter than soil particles and is found in the top layer of the soil. When we cultivate, the soil becomes loose, and with heavy rain, the organic matter washes away with the water, causing a loss. Another loss is that the organic matter in the top layer decomposes due to sunlight and evaporates into the air. Therefore, in tropical countries like India, if you want to conserve organic matter, you need to keep the soil covered. Scientists suggest covering the soil, and weeds can be used as mulch. In closely planted crops like soybean, maize, or cotton, you cannot use a brush cutter, so herbicides are sprayed to kill the weeds on the spot. In widely spaced crops like orchards, you can avoid using herbicides by cutting the weeds with a brush cutter and letting them lie there. This creates a beautiful mulch, which keeps the soil covered and gradually decomposes to increase organic matter. Another point is the presence of mycorrhizal fungi, beneficial fungi that cannot produce their food and thus attach to other plant roots, providing them with nutrients and water in return. These fungi form networks from one root to another, requiring live roots, which can be either crop roots or weed roots. When weeds are cut with a brush cutter, their roots remain intact, preserving the mycorrhizal networks and providing nutrients to the crops. In areas with water scarcity, these fungi help in providing water to the crops. Therefore, I urge farmers with orchards to adopt the SRT method to increase soil fertility. Once soil fertility increases, all the necessary nutrients become available to the crops, improving the quality and taste of the fruits, reducing pest and disease incidence, and decreasing the number of sprays required. This technology is widely accepted globally, but not yet promoted in India. I request farmers to adopt the SRT method as much as possible. Thank you.